How did you first of all, how did you get approached by that? Did Brian Robbins
What happened was I I got my start um, doing radio promotions
hmm
in the early '90s for Loud Records, um, Death Row, and Interscope. Um, Loud was my first one. Well, I actually started at Immortal Records, and Immortal Records was my internship. And Immortal Records had Funk Dubious, a guy from LA named Volume 10, and that's how I cut my teeth. And the guy who owned the label name is Happy Waters. Now, Happy Waters has since then has stopped doing the music, and he's now an agent for athletes, and actually some well known athletes if you're in basketball. I definitely
Yeah.
know. So he transitioned to that. So that's where I got my start at. And then from there, my internship, I got a job at Loud Records. Loud Records had the Alcoholics. I worked that first album. I worked Enter the 36 Chambers by Wu Tang Clan. I was actually there when we signed them, so I got to see Wu Tang become Wu. I got to see them start from nothing to something. I was instrumental in getting Mobb Deep over at Loud Records when they blew up with the infamous album. So at Loud Records, I was working, and the, uh, the owner of the company knew Brian Robbins, and he came in, and when he came in, I was like, "Oh, yo, you the cat from Head of the Class, the old school show that used to come on
hmm
Channel 7, yeah, or ABC, I should say."
Yep.
I was like, "Oh shit, you the cat from Head of the Class," and he was doing this, directing some kid stuff, doing some Nickelodeon stuff, and I wasn't really hip to it, and we kind of shot the breeze a little bit, not too much, and then I think he asked my boss at the time. He was looking for somebody to actually say some stuff for a show. And then I think my boss was like, "Oh yeah, man, Soup's pretty good. He talks pretty cool. You can ask him." And then he came in and he was like, "Yo, can you do it?" And I didn't have any experience. I was like, "Of course." I didn't even know what a voiceover was. I was like, "Of course I can do it. Be whatever, whatever. That's easy." So we did it. He said, "Hold on." He said, "I'm gonna call you in a few hours." And then he was like, "I want you to do it for my partner, who is Mike Tolan. I guess that's the name, Mike Tolan." And I did it for Mike over the phone, and they was like, "Okay, that's it. You cool. You can do it." And then that's just how I got it. Just that easy and simple.
Awesome, awesome. I think Brian, he was definitely a fan of hip hop at the time. And going to all that, like, one thing that was so cool about was the musical guests that performed. Did you ever like
hmm
to get to like hang out with them? That must have been really cool for you.
No. I never got to hang out with him, and it's funny because it's a lot of I didn't for a lot of the tapings, I wasn't even there. I went to a few tapings. Like when it first started, I definitely went to kind of check it out to
Mm,
see what it was about. But I recorded a lot of that stuff, so it was just my voice on the recorder. And they was doing it like that. But every now and then I went to see the show, but I never got to hang out with anybody. But at that time, I was trying to come up myself. So my thing was to hang around with other cats who was already put on.
mhm.
I didn't. No, I wasn't gonna do that. I was just like, I'm gonna wait till my situation come out, and then if we meet up, then that's cool. But I just was low key. I didn't. I didn't. Too many people knew I even was doing music.
Right, right. I totally understand that. And you just said like you got to go a few tapings when it started though. So what was your first impression of Nickelodeon Studios when you got there?
That was dope. I thought it was cool. I wasn't used to that type of atmosphere, so I thought it was really, really cool just to see the inner workings, of how they was doing the stuff. So it was something that I was interested in back even when I was younger. I used to go to a lot of um, television show tapings, like a show called Different Strokes.
Yeah.
with Gary Coleman. I used to go to those live tapings. Another show called Give Me a Break, Facts of Life. Oh, I used to go to
Yeah.
those type of, yeah, I used to go to those. I had the opportunity to go to quite a few when I was a lot younger through my school, because I was part of this travel club, and that was one of the things that we used to do. So that was cool to see the actual live tapings, but to actually be a part of it was a whole new experience for me, because I was actually a part of the Nickelodeon, all that thing. So to see it kind of more behind the scenes was really dope, man. My mind was blown. It just opened up a whole nother world for me.
Yeah, good TV shows back then. I must say that you just add Give Me a Break and different shows. That was good
Yeah,
TV back
yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah.
And
That's
can
when it was still innocent, and you could still just laugh and enjoy it. Now it's something different now, but
Oh yeah, totally, totally. It's a different type of comedy, I must say,
yeah,
compared
yeah.
to back then. And can you describe a typical day of like shooting there and getting your voice done for the show? Like, what did you have to do to prepare?
Well, nothing. I when I needed to do something, I went to a totally different studio that was actually located in Burbank, California, and
Oh,
so I was working with a young lady named Nicole, and what I would do was they would call and say, when are you available? And I was like, well, I'm available these days, and then we would they would allot a time to me to come. I would come, and they would have some stuff for me to read. I would read it, do takes. If it didn't sound good, switch this, do that. Put some emphasis on this. Didn't chilled out on that. So it was really cool. It wasn't really long and tedious. It was, I mean, if I stayed there for an hour, I was that's because I was messing up,
yeah.
because it was that quick. It was really that quick. I mean, maybe about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and that had a lot to do with not only doing what I needed to do, but also talking and laughing and shooting the breeze as well. It wasn't one of those things you just come in, hey, how y'all doing? Let me just do it, and then I leave. No, I was actually cool. We were all cool. The people who was in there was all cool with each other. So we would shoot the breeze, and I worked for a record label, so they wanted to kind of know what my situation was as far as stuff I was doing, what I was working. We would talk, and then we would handle business, and then I would leave.
Yeah, yeah, I can look back on it now. Like you were just in and out because looking back, you just doing your quick liners for the show and your one-liners and your
Mhm.
introduction. That's what you did.
Mhm.
And that special introduction though, fresh out the box, stop looking watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I still love that. I still love it. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. They told me to write something for it
Mhm.
to the beginning of the show, and I was just like, oh man, I was like, I, I don't know if I can do that, but I didn't tell them that. But I'm thinking to myself, oh man, they kind of put me on the spot with that one. I thought they was gonna already have something written out, but Brian was like, man, make it your own. And so I came out with that fresh out the box, stop, look and watch, ready yet? So, or get ready yet, or whatever. It's all that. And then
Yeah.
they were like, cool, yeah. So it worked out. It worked out, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And just to refresh your memory, because like I remember it originally was not quite live, but ready for prime time. Do you remember that too? Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I remember. I can't remember it word for word, but I remember the fresh out the box,
Oh yeah.
because my thing was like when I did it, and then knowing that the show was going to premiere, and then sitting there, and I watched the show. I remember watching the show and bugging out like, oh my. I was like, that's my voice, and every week, and then even young kids who knew me would come and be like, "We heard you, we heard you, we heard you." So it was dope. It was dope.
Yeah, yeah, it sure was, especially for back then when the show was really hot and stuff. You probably got a lot of people who recognize you. Hopefully you did, but that was
No, no,
definitely.
no, 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 not too much for all that. But people, it was funny because uh um working in a bit, sometimes people would, it would come out the blue. it would be people who I wouldn't even expect, and then they may have they may have a niece or a nephew or a son or a kid and that watch the show, and then they see the credits roll because they watching the show with their kids or whatever, and they see the credits roll and see my name. I would have people say, "Look, yo, I was just watching the show and I heard somebody that sound a lot like you. Is that you?" I would have people come and say that, and it was like, "Yeah, that was me," and they was like, "Oh, word." So, but not like I'm in the street and somebody see my face. No, nothing like that.
Yeah, yeah. And going back to the building in Orlando, though, like for you, this was shot in Universal Studios, though. So did you ever get to like go on any of the attractions or rides there? If you can remember?
Yeah, but not. But see, yeah, but not attached to Nickelodeon or anything like that.
Mm.
Just going to Universal Studios, just something um, that's just dope. I actually took my kids not too long ago, not last year, and they had a really great time. And I've been before, and I like it anyway because it's just really dope. And especially when you take the tour and you see and they tell you the movies that they've made there, and then you kind of look and you just bug out on the sets and how it's all just a big lot, but
Mm-hmm.
they make it seem like it's really Paris for you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's really dope. That to see the Psycho Hotel, motel, Jaws. Jaws is old. Jaws is like the old man on the corner that has
Mm-hmm.
become a staple of the neighborhood to where you
Yeah.
don't mess with him. You just you're like, oh, that's Uncle so and so. That's how Jaws is. Jaws is so old, but people still love to see it. So
Yeah.
it's cool. But Universal Studios cool. Have you ever been?
Oh yeah, definitely. I went around
Yeah.
the same time you did, actually. That was my first time going
Oh,
there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I love the place. I love it.
Yeah.
And now they got some cool. They got some cool rides.
Yeah.
They sped them up.
Yeah.
They
Harry Potter. They have that over
Yeah,
there.
they got the mummy ride. This I was kind of impressed because I was like, it's really fast and it was pretty cool. It was dope.
Yeah, it's a much bigger park now than it was back then, I will say though.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
definitely, definitely. And for you, what was it like being in Orlando though? Did you ever get to like hang out around the city and go there? Because it's a much different pace than LA, I will say.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's a lot. With the humidity is no joke.
Oh
Put it
yeah,
that
the
way.
heat is no joke.
Yeah. The humidity is no joke. But it's cool. It's not. I'm from LA originally, so
Hmm.
um, to be honest, it's like Orlando. It's like Universal Studios. I want to say Disneyland, and it's another one, and they all in the
Yeah.
same area though. They all. It's like you can basically, if you get a hotel over like in that area, you can basically visit. They're almost like in walking distance. Everyone is like in walking distance of
Yeah.
itself. So I stayed in that area. I didn't really go out too far in Orlando to venture out, though I will say I never really did it like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's like a place where everyone kind of knows everyone, but it's so laid back at the same time. And if you could just
Hmm.
search out this place, you can find fun stuff to do. But I do understand, like, it's kind of like hi everybody, like I just met you and stuff. And, yeah, I seen you
Hmm.
before. Yeah, that type of thing. The cast members, they were all like really talented though. Did you like get to remember them and stuff?
Well, I remember when it was the original people.
Oh yeah, the original cast
Yeah,
is definitely
I
talented.
remember when the original. That's who I dealt with. I dealt with the original cast when
Yeah,
we
Keenan
first
and
started.
Kel and
Yeah,
Angelique,
Keenan.
Lori Beth,
Yeah, Josh.
Josh.
Uh, um, I forget the Lisa. That's yeah, and Katrina and the black girl. I forget her
Angelique.
name.
Angelique.
Yeah, yeah, and they were really cool. They were young. They were excited.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good to see that, and I thought they were really talented because it was all that to me was kind of like a kid's version of Saturday Night
Yeah,
Live.
that's what they all say. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it was, and to see you knew that after a few episodes you knew that Kanan was
Gonna
you
be a
knew
big
that Keenan
star.
was, yeah. Well, but you knew he was good. I don't want to say that I knew he was going to be a big star, but you knew he was good. And I mean, because there was one particular episode when he did an impression of Bill Cosby, and I thought it was really good, and I was just like, yo, this little young cat is pretty good. And
How great was all the staff, even though you were only there for like a short time, but just seeing the crew, the production people, and all the staff who worked at the Nickelodeon studios? How great was everyone who worked there? I always hear positive stories.
well, I dealt with Brian more
Mostly.
than anybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it was a young lady named Nicole who was really cool, but it was somebody before her. I don't know if her name was Becky or Beth, but it was some. But she wound up getting married, and Tracy, I think her name might have been. Um, but they were cool and to know the cast. But like as far as the person that did the lights or something like that, or the
Yeah.
assistant directors,
You didn't really
we
interact with
didn't
them.
necessarily, we didn't necessarily communicate a lot. If it wasn't Brian, the two young ladies I mentioned, or just speaking to the cast and saying hello, then it wasn't too many of the stage hands or other staffers that I spoke to.
Okay, okay. And do you have a particular favorite behind the scenes memory from being on all that? Or...
I got to meet Aaliyah. That
Oh
was
snap! That was the bomb. Yeah, she was
yeah,
everything.
yeah. I got to meet Aaliyah. That was about the best one. And I wasn't a super big Aaliyah fan, but I thought she was real cool, and actually she was doing One in a Million, and I actually liked that song, so I was able to meet her and talk to her for a hot second. So I thought that was cool. I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, yeah. She just had this certain style about her. Like she just, I don't know. There was something. She was different. I will say, Aaliyah, and she's definitely missed by a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah, and many years later, you left all that and returned to music, but nowadays, recent years, there's been a resurgence for it and 90s Nickelodeon. How does that make you feel to know it's made such a positive impact and it's still loved by people today?
Um, to my kids grew up on it,
Mm.
and I thought the things that they were doing was still for the children, was still kid oriented. This was before any Hannah Montanas, and then I think Nickelodeon, all that kickstarted that stuff off. In
Mm-hmm.
my opinion, I think they kickstarted that stuff off to where then, because the Disney Channel wasn't. The Disney Channel wasn't what it was back then. What it
No,
is now wasn't. It wasn't. I don't really remember anybody
no, it
mentioning
definitely
the Disney
wasn't.
Channel. Yeah, so Nickelodeon kicked off a lot of that stuff, and to be honest with you, I don't hear as I mean I think the Disney Channel has made more kids successful with the Justin Timberlakes and the
Oh
stuff like
yeah.
that, and yeah, I think the Disney Channel has done that, but you don't really hear too much
About
crazy stuff about the Nickelodeon kids like doing
yeah.
too. So I and when I remember seeing them work, I'm sure they had to make adult decisions, but they were kids, man, and I didn't see people acting or doing funny stuff.
Mm.
And then when I was there, now I can't really speak for because I know everybody got stories, but just look at the how the kids turned out,
Yeah.
and it's you don't hear a lot about them, and I don't know. Some people may say that's because they not as successful. I'm pretty sure somebody will say that, but success is what you think it is. It ain't
It's
what the
what you
other
make
people
it,
think it
right.
is. Yeah, it's what you think. If you tell me this, you like interviewing people and this is what you do, or you blog and you're able to interview people and put stuff out. Now, if I see you and never heard of you before, don't mean Bilal ain't successful.
Mm.
I just ain't heard that. Don't you know what I'm saying? But if we walk out, it's me and you can walk out the street right now, man, and meet a lot of people we ain't never heard of. But if we look at their resume, we like, wow, that you done a lot.
Mm.
So it all depends, man. In today's society, we have a warped thing of what success is and what who has it going on and who doesn't. I mean, I think that Keenan is successful.
Yeah.
He's success. Kale is successful because it's something on their resume that you can. That's timeless. I can Google up any of them guys right now and they'll come up.
Yeah.
To me, that's successful. Now if you're not still successful 20 years down the line, I don't know nothing about that, and that ain't for me to even comment on. But when you had your opportunity and you did it, you successful. That's to me. And when your opportunity came and you was on all that, making them laugh and being funny, you were successful.
Yeah, I think you know what I think so is that Nickelodeon they cater to kids and they made the kids become they just made the kids act like kids. They made them still
Yeah.
be just what was it like to be a teenager or a kid. They just that's what they
Hmm.
were good at. And Disney on the
Yeah.
other hand was just all about marketing, make them a star.
Disney exploit.
Yeah, exactly. That's all
I
they
mean, let's just keep. I mean, I listen. I've been to Disneyland a lot, and you catch me on a good day, and it's a cool place to go. I'm not mad at it, but I know they exploit them kids, and
Mhm.
they work them kids like adults, and no telling whatever else. I didn't get that vibe at Nickelodeon. I got the like you said, that they were kids, man, and they was just having a good time, and I ain't heard no bad drug stories about any of them, or somebody going to jail because they couldn't take the fact that they were no longer on TV. I've never heard that with a Nickelodeon kid, but.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was one of the benefits of them being in Orlando because they were
Oh
away
yeah,
from that whole LA
oh
atmosphere
yeah,
and the partying thing, and they just got to be
oh
themselves. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Without question,
Mm.
I wouldn't. I mean, even if your parents are with the kid and the kid is in Hollywood or in LA or whatever, that hey man,
It's
Hollywood
such a
is a
strange place to
a
be.
tough it's a tough monster, and it's a tough monster, and I remember growing up, I wanted to act and do all that type of stuff, and was upset because it didn't pan out the acting that I wanted it, but maybe I was being saved from something.
Hmm.
Because it's and the music I do music too. Music ain't no joke as well,
Oh yeah.
but but to be honest with you, I could, music is a little different. It all
Yeah.
depends on the person. You music it's a little it's the same, but it's a little different in my opinion.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with you. And speaking of all that, are you aware that it's airing right now on the Splat? It's like a late night.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah,
yep. I
yeah.
did see the advertisement for that they were actually showing us a lot of the old shows, which I thought was cool. I did think that was dope.
Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, I just yeah, everybody's been talking about it. It's getting a lot of buzz lately, and I want to talk to you about Jurassic 5 a little bit. You guys just finished
Hmm.
on touring. You guys are touring constantly, actually, I must say. And
Hmm.
do you guys working on new music at the moment?
No, we're not working on any new music as far as J5. I personally have a side project called Fully Love
Mm-hmm.
that I'm doing. That I'll put out an EP. I'm looking to shoot the video for the first single real soon, and that's my thing as far as I'm doing. But J5 is not working on any new music. Not necessarily saying that it won't happen, but right now it's not. Nothing's happening.
Okay. And Fully Love, is that like the same hip hop thing that you're doing for that J5 is
No,
more
this is
like a
no, this is totally different.
right.
It's totally different, and the beauty of it for me is that it. I don't I don't have to sound. There's no remnants of J5, and I don't have to because
Mm-hmm.
it's only me. In order to sound like J5, I need five other people with me. So you know what I'm saying. So this right here is just me, doing what I like doing, as well as the J5 stuff.
Awesome, awesome. I think it would be really beneficial. It's always good to like, get your what you feel is more passionate about you than sometimes when you're in a group, you're kind of like held back on things, but
Oh
when you
yeah, without question.
yeah, totally, totally. And I just had two more questions before I let you go.
Mhm.
That's okay?
Mhm. Yeah,
All right.
fine.
All right. Now, I just told you earlier that the studio in Orlando it closed and stuff, but
Mhm.
for you, for your memory, would you like to see it come back and do you think it should be reopened one day?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, but in order for that to happen, you have to have people have to have that same kind of dedication that
Oh
they
yeah.
had then. And the thing is that with it being the way it is now, the mindset of the people now,
It's changed.
yeah, I don't know if that's possible because what we do as a people is we always look or reminisce about the nostalgic stuff that made us feel good.
Mhm.
But but that's us because now we can find some people who remember the show and they'll tell you 150 reasons why they didn't like it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it's if they would bring reopen that it just would have to be some people that had that type of passion. And I just to be honest with you,
You
I'm
don't
not
really
saying
see
there's no.
that.
I'm not saying there's not people out there like that because me and you are talking. I know we're not the only ones that feel the way we do, so I know it's other people like that. But once you do that, now it's no longer you. Now the nostalgia is over with, and now it's will the public and the mind frame of the
Take
people
interest in
get
it.
with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where that's where it could get sticky.
Yeah. Yeah, like totally. We were just talking about how Disney and Nick were different back then, but now
Hmm.
Nickelodeon has become more like Disney now. A lot of people just hate the network now, and they just hate the shows that they have with it, and
Hmm.
they just
Because
it's
they're trying to compete now.
yeah, exactly. It's a
Because
different market.
back in the day they didn't have to compete
Mhm.
because it wasn't no what like I said what no Hannah Montanas what no what they call that there's some about the two kids on the Sweet Life with
Oh
Zach
yeah,
and
that.
Cole. It wasn't that stuff back then.
Mhm.
So all that they didn't have a problem. But
No.
now in order to keep up. And once I said, the mind frame of the people now, the stuff that me and you say that we like a Doug about it, a lot of people think that's corny now.
Oh man.
Or
It's a
exactly when I said different strokes and facts of life, and you was like, yeah, those are some good shows because I remember they dealt with issues that they wasn't talking about who on their cell phone or
no.
who or taking selfie. This is the mind frame of the people, and it's scary. And now, the conversation will go into some other stuff, but it's scary, and it's just like, where are the shows or just the people
Yeah.
who who are not programmed? If you can't see that society, and I'm talking to me first, is programmed like it's never been programmed before, you've been walking around with blinders on because we are programmed to say, can Nickelodeon come back? I don't know, and maybe it could
Mhm.
come back, but like you saying, how people are saying that it's been turned into the Disney Channel, I can't. The mind frame of the people, we're not thinking for ourselves no more, and if we
No.
are thinking for ourselves, we too scared to go against the grain because now we don't want to be persecuted, laughed at, or ridiculed or whatever else. So it's a tough thing, man. It's a tough world now, and it's
Yeah.
not a tough world because it's a tough world because people are
Scared to be
they
themselves these
they
days.
scared to be themselves, and then when they are when they say they're being themselves, it's always, in my opinion, it's always an extreme.
Different world. Like you just have to keep it real moving, and that's not what about. It's all about just attention grabbing. That's what it is. Just that's
Hmm.
what the world is
Hmm.
today.
Everybody want to be a star.
Yeah,
Everybody want to be a star.
yeah, just crazy. And finally, what do you think made the Nick Studios in Florida so great and special? Looking back on it.
All right, I think because of the location, because Orlando is not a bad looking place. It's
No.
a beautiful place.
Yeah, the palm
So it's
trees
not,
and the beaches. Yeah.
yeah, man. The beach, the water is warm. The beaches are nice.
Yeah.
Is the sun is out. So it's not a bad place to be. It's you get that big city feel without that big city feel.
Yeah,
Put
without
it that
feeling
way.
overwhelming. Yeah,
Yeah, without it overwhelming you, you could still go out and chill and do your thing and, jump in your car and go or walk or whatever, and you don't have to feel like I need to be seen
Mhm.
because this is Hollywood. So I think that because you hit the nail on the head when you was like, that's where it was located, and it kept a lot of the kids out of that element. And I agree with you 110% on that, man. And I think that's what made it special because if you look, stuff ain't being filmed in Orlando like that. Orlando ain't one of the places you go to film a movie.
No, it
That ain't your
isn't.
first choice. So I think that had the location, man. And like people always say when you buying homes, location, location, location.
Location.
And I
Yeah.
think it's the location, man.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. And that's one of the great things that you just mentioned that you appreciate me doing something like this because I want to get this project out just to see that this place meant something to a lot of people. And it's a shame that it's long gone and stuff, but at the same time, it can still do so much today. And I think it's greatly needed,
Hmm.
actually. There's so much.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it sure is. Like, oh, and I just want to say thank you, first of all, for talking to
Oh,
me
no
today.
problem, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been a long time, and but before I let you go, can you do one last thing though?
Hmm.
All right. At the ending for the original seasons, you used to say all that was recorded in front of a live audience at Nickelodeon Studios at Universal Studios, Florida. Can you say that one more
Hmm.
time?
Oh man, I need to. What it was like? All that was. Say it
Yeah.
again, because you remember it. All that was filmed in front of a live audience
In
at
Nickelodeon
the
Studios at
in
Universal.
Nickelodeon Studios at Universal Studio Orlando, Florida.
That's right. Yeah, just like that.
Okay, okay. So you want me to do the whole thing flawless? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me see. All that was filmed in front of a live studio audience at Nickelodeon Studios at Universal Studios, Florida.
Yes.
Is that cool?
That's
Okay,
cool.
cool, man.
It's been a long time. I know. I know. I know.
Right, it's been a long
I know.
time.
Yeah, I'm the director right now, man. So you gotta keep up. I'm
Gotta
playing.
keep it moving, right? No problem, man.
Yeah,
Well,
but
hopefully that was cool enough for you.
yeah, it's just that ending. That was what made that was the attraction that made people come in. So it's just a classic line. So I just had to hear it one more time. That's what made people
Thank
come
you,
to the
man.
building. Yeah, no
Thank you,
problem.
man. Thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you again for being a part of this and that, Paul.
Okay, man. All right. Thank you, man, and have a good day, man.
All right, you do the same. Take
All right.
care,
Thank you,
man.
Bella.
All
All
right,
right,
bye.
man. Thank you.